Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we've got a Dennis Rodman build, so make sure he's a power forward and we'll move on. So for the body settings, he is listed at 6'7" on basketballreference.com, so that's the height we're going to go with. Now for weight, he's called the worm for a reason because he was really strong, but he was also really light. He was one of those sort of hard gainers. They stay pretty thin, but they're pretty strong as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop down the weight to 227 pounds. So that's just to boost a lot of speed while also sort of keeping other attributes pretty high. And then we're going to boost wingspan to 7'4". So that will push the rebounding up as well as some defense. And for body shape, I just chose compact. Like I said, he was real thin, but he's still really strong, like real compact. So that's the body shape I went with. In terms of the attributes, you know, Dennis Rodman wasn't much of a scorer. He was definitely just a defender. You know, an on-ball defender, sort of a down-low on-ball defender. He could definitely go out in the perimeter and defend. He could definitely block shots and sort of protect the rim. But he was mainly good at defending those low-post big men and making it really tough for him to score and, you know, getting a heap of rebounds. That was what he was best at. But in his younger days, if you've watched the 98 Bulls documentary, they have an episode on Rodman. And in his younger days, he was really athletic. And with Detroit, he was really athletic as well. And he's got a lot of pretty decent posters. If you go watch on YouTube, his highlights. So for his scoring, we're just going to focus on finishing. He has hit some threes in his career, but he's definitely not a three-point shooter. So we won't be upgrading that. But in terms of finishing, we're going to push close shot to 75. So at 75, we just get the Fearless Finisher Silver as well as Fast Twitch. Those badges can come in handy. And then for driving layup, we're going to push that to 76. So you'll get some animations at 75, and then at 76 you get the Silver Acrobat. I had a point left over that I could upgrade, and I thought that might be worth it just to unlock Silver Acrobat if you do like that badge. Now for driving dunk, like I said, he's got some pretty decent posters, and he was definitely athletic in his younger years. So I've pushed driving dunk to 93. So at 92 you get the elite contact dunks, and then at 93 you get the gold posterizer. So you'll have pretty much all the contact dunks with this build. I know in the thumbnail I did say you get all the contact dunks. The only thing you'll miss out on is the elite big man contact dunks, because we're only pushing standing dunk to 85. That's all I could get to without sacrificing too much defense and playmaking. So you won't quite get all the contact dunks, but you'll get pretty much all of them. You'll have the pros and the elites off 1 and 2. You'll have the pro big man contact dunks, also the contact alley-oops and the big man contact alley-oops. So you're only missing the elite big man contact dunks, but it's not too bad. You'll have pretty much all of them. So you'll finish with the 19 finishing badges. Now for shooting, like I said, he's not a great shooter at all, really. He's hit about 80 odd threes in his career, but they're definitely fluky threes. He wasn't much of a shooter at all. And his free throw shooting wasn't great either. It's only 58.4% for his career. So we're just going to push free throw to 63. It's a little low, particularly because you are a bit of a slasher as well. If you wanted to boost that, then by all means find a way to work it out to try and get it above maybe 70, 75 to make it a bit more consistent. But 63 is all we're going to go with here. Now in terms of playmaking, he only averaged 1.8 assists for his career, so he's definitely not much of a playmaker. But you have the points left over because you haven't upgraded shooting. So you can really make the most of playmaking, and you know he could definitely, with Detroit, he could definitely take the ball off the rim and just take it up the court, a bit like Giannis, and just finish because he was super quick, could run all day. So in terms of pass accuracy, we're going to push that to 76, just to get that gold break starter, because he could grab the ball with one hand and then just launch it up the court. It's like Michael Jordan or Isaiah Thomas, Scottie Pippen, players like that. Ball handle, we're going to push to 85. So at 85, of course, you get all those animations that you get at 85. You can push it one more if you want mismatch expert, because you are a power forward. So, you know, if you're up against really tall power forwards that, you know, I think a 6'11" and over, that could come in handy, that mismatch expert. So you could push it one more if you wanted to, but I just couldn't quite get it to 86, sorry. And then speed with ball, we're going to push to 81. So it's just one below the max whilst keeping the 21 badge points. So you've pretty much got gold and silver playmaking on this, you know, lockdown build. You can definitely take other power forwards that might have low perimeter defense, particularly if they're centers, particularly if you play Park and you play as a center. You can definitely take them off the dribble, and it's a total mismatch in that respect. So the playmaking is definitely something that can set you apart as a power forward. Now for defense, obviously this is what makes Dennis Rodman Dennis Rodman. He's a fantastic defender. Much more of a post defender than he is like a rim protector. But in terms of that, we're still going to push interior defense to 88 because I did want that post lockdown at least gold. Probably should be Hall of Fame, but to get it Hall of Fame, it does cost a lot in other areas of the build, and I still like to make builds as well-rounded as possible. I still like to give them a really good method of scoring, because I don't think anybody really just wants to play defense. You want to have an ability to score and do cool things on the game and enjoy it that way as well. But I still wanted to have a really good level of defense. So the 88 interior defense. Perimeter defense, we're going to push to 93. I would have loved to get Hall of Fame clamps with this build, but we're just going to get gold, and then we're going to push it one more for the extra badge point. And then for steal, he doesn't actually average a lot of steals. He only averaged 0.7 steals per game for his career, but you are a lockdown defender, and I did want to make the most out of the build because that's what you're really going to be the best at, lockdown defense. So I wanted to get you in the passing lanes and, you know, strips a bit. So 85 steal, you get those silver steal badges, glove and interceptor. Now for block, he didn't average a heap of blocks either. It's only 0.6 blocks per game, which is not high also. But of course you are a lockdown defender. I want to push that high, so we're going to get it to 87. And we'll get that silver anchor because he was a bit of an anchor on defense. You know, they had Luke Longley and things there when he was at the Bulls. And you had a lot of other players, Bill Laimbeer at the Pistons, you know, David Robinson at the Spurs, but he was still a bit of an anchor on the court. He could definitely hold down that end of the floor against those bigs. In terms of rebounding, of course, Dennis Rodman, I think he's like a 7-time rebound champ or something like that. He's averaged like 18 rebounds per game in his career at 6'7", which is just nuts. And then his career average is 13.1, which is huge. So we're going to push offensive rebound to 90. I would love to have maxed out both, but we're just going to max out defensive rebound to 99. So you'll have the Hall of Fame rebound chaser and Hall of Fame pogo stick. So, you know, you've got plenty of bounce, plenty of rebounding. I've got a friend who has a smaller power forward similar to this build, and he snags offensive rebounds for days, and he gets a lot of defensive rebounds. So don't be afraid. Don't be worried that you're short and you don't know if the rebounding will come into play. It definitely will. You'll definitely snag a heap of rebounds with this build. Now for the physicals, if you have seen the Jordan documentary, the Bulls documentary, in the Rodman episode, they talk about him going to Vegas or something for a few days, just coming back, and they're making him do suicides. Phil Jackson made him do like, you know, Indian file or suicides, something like that, around the court, and apparently Rodman just smashed him. They couldn't keep up with him, and he'd just come from Vegas after like 3 days straight of gambling and stuff. So definitely wanted to keep speed really high, you know, because he's called a worm. He could run all day. Strength, like I said, he was real wiry, strong. So I wanted to get that 82 because I wanted that bully, because he's a bit of a bully out on the court, to get in people's heads that way. And then vertical, we do need the 82 vert for the contact dunks. And then for the stamina, we're just going to push stamina to 93. Because like I said, usually I go to 90, but I wanted to boost a bit more because, you know, he could absolutely run all day. But that's the build. So in total, you have 19 finishing, 21 playmaking, and 32 defensive badges for 72 in total on this real specialized build. You know, it's hard to get a lot of badges on lockdown builds. Generally, you put so much into defense, you don't quite have enough everywhere else to make it really well-rounded. But I think this is a really well-rounded two-way slasher build that can do a lot. It's got great physicals, I think. You know, the speed's not too slow. You know, you can go a lot higher than 80, but I think you won't notice a difference. I've seen NBA 2K shoots. Definitely check out his channel. He does great stuff there. And acceleration doesn't really make a difference, and I don't think there's much of a gap between something like 80 and 90 speed. I don't think you'll notice it too much. You know, his defense is absolutely amazing. You know, you've got playmaking that can really set you apart from other power forwards, particularly ones that are taller than you. They just won't be able to stay in front of you. And then you've got really great finishing. you know, really great dunking. So you should have a lot of fun with this lockdown build. In terms of takeovers, I just chose See the Future. Like I said before, it's the third time I've said it, but if you've seen the documentary about the Bulls and you've seen that clip of him telling everyone how, you know, if Jordan shoots it this way, or if Pippen shot it this way, or Kukoc shoots it and the ball's spinning on the ring and stuff like that, he just knew where it was going to go before anyone else could just totally tell exactly. It's like he was inside the ball and he just knew what was going to happen. But that's definitely his primary takeover. And then interior badge drop as well. He's really great down low defending other bigs. So those are the two I went with. But as you can see, you've got shades of Dennis Rodman, Draymond Green and Scotty Barnes. So, you know, Dennis Rodman's there. If you're interested in that. You've made a two-way glass cleaning slasher. We'll take a look at the badges. So just to quickly run through the badges, you know, for finishing, the ones I would look at for Dennis Rodman would definitely, you know, fearless finisher, fast twitch, aerial wizard, because you do have a lob threat capability there. If you've seen a lot of his top dunks, a lot of them are lobs. So that's definitely a great one to have. You know, rise up is definitely a good one. Giant Slayer, because you are 6'7", you'll be coming up against bigger players. That could be a great one as well. And then in these tier 3 badges, you know, limitless takeoff, posterizer, of course, slithery finisher, bully. You can pick the ones you want out of there. You know, you could core this one, put on posterizer, put an extra couple badge points in here to get a slithery finisher or something like that. You've got enough points in here to work out something that really works for you. Now shooting, you don't have anything here, so we'll keep on moving to playmaking. Now for playmaking, definitely want, you know, things. He wasn't much of a dribbler, let's be honest, but you had the points to really make use of the playmaking stats. So, you know, quick first step, vice grip. You know, when he grabbed that rebound, he didn't let it go. I rarely see him get stripped. Break start is only in tier 1, so that's fantastic. You can get that gold. And then from here, you know, you've got still 10 badges to go, so you can, you know, core handles for days. Put on Clamp Breaker, that could be a really great one. Put an extra couple badges in here to get killer combos on Pluckable. And you've got yourself a really great, you know, playmaking off the dribble power forward. So a really versatile playmaker here. And then on defense, you know, you've got 32 badges. That's a lot of badges to have in one category, particularly on 2K23 with how it's all set out. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put Pox out Beast on Hall of Fame because, you know, once he boxed you out, you could not get around him. You know, Pogo Stick's there. Workhorse could probably be on Hall of Fame. You know, we're going to do it because it's Rodman. We're going to put that on Hall of Fame. You know, Off-Ball Pest, of course, easy. Post-Lockdown Gold. You know, Rebound Chaser, Hall of Fame. That's only in tier 2. That's only in tier 2. That's amazing to have that in tier 2. You know, we've got Menace, absolutely Dennis the Menace. I'm sure that was based off him, that movie. Chase Down Artist could be a great one because you are pretty quick. Anchor, of course, and you've still got 10 badges. I mean, you could take some of those off if you're not interested in some of them, of course, and move it around. But, you know, Clamps, absolutely, core that. He wasn't much of a perimeter challenger, but of course, all these badges are here, you know. Brick Wall, Rebound Chaser's not on, we'll put that back on. There's so much. You could almost just get all of them on bronze. You could have every badge here on bronze. So you can really make a fantastic defender with this build. All in all, that's the build. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I hope you have a really great day.